When working with large worksheets, it may be advantageous to see different portions of the worksheet at the same time. In this list here, we've got some entries here for the admin training group and later there's a professional training group. We might want to see some of those names together at the same time. You can split a screen vertically or horizontally or even both ways. If we want to split the screen top-bottom horizontally, put the active cells somewhere in column A, no matter where you happen to be on the screen at any given time, more or less around the middle, somewhere out here for example. And then, on the View tab in the ribbon, choose Split. We split the screen top-bottom. Here's the split line right here. We can move this up and down if we wish. Now recognize there's a scroll bar on the right-hand side that lets us scroll above the split line. Nothing is scrolling below the line though, so maybe we want to see some of those admin training people over there that we were looking at earlier. There they are, some of those people. Meanwhile, below the split, we might want to scroll to see the professional training group, which is much farther down on the list somewhere in the 500 row area somewhere down there. There we are. We're seeing some of those people. So we're seeing two different portions of the worksheet. Up here, we're looking at rows 97 through 104. Down below it's rows 533 down to 540. By changing the zoom factor possibly, we'll see more rows. The main idea though, is we'd like to see data from different parts of the worksheet simply by splitting the screen. That's a handy device to be sure. Now at some point, you don't need this anymore. Remember you can move this up and down. We can also get rid of it simply by double-clicking, and once again, if you wish to split a screen top-bottom, in a so-called horizontal split, put the active cell in column A, more or less mid-screen, and apply split. Now, maybe not as obvious, but a similar feature to split the screen left-right or vertically also exists. The idea here might be, you might want to compare some of the data or look at some of the data that we see here along with some of the data way off to the right. Now we could certainly hide columns to get there, but this too might be an advantage to us. Maybe we don't care too much about department. We'll make that a little bit smaller for the moment, ignoring it pretty much. We want to split the screen maybe left to right. This time, we want to put the active cell in row 1 and then split. We split the screen left to right. So, we've got two scroll bars at the bottom, allowing us to scroll on the right side of the screen, left to right. We could even possibly be showing columns A, B and C here. And the scroll bar for the left side of the screen down here. We can be looking at the data that way, so that's a little bit unusual perhaps, but nevertheless we're looking at salaries and ratings next to employee names. We're splitting the screen left to right. As we scroll up and down, they're always in sync, so that's another possibility, splitting the screen left to right. Now if we want to get rid of this, we can simply double-click the split line. Now, what happens sometimes is people are not quite aware of this feature. They've got the active cell, this location, that location, and they say, I want to wonder what split does. They see the description, divide the window into different panes that each scrolls separately. Sounds interesting, click. Now we've got a two-way split. If you activate split, when the active cell is not on the edge, either the top or left edge, you get in effect 4 different panes here. Now you can move this intersection point over here if you wish or wherever you wish, but with the idea of having 2 vertical scroll bars on the right side, 2 horizontal scrolls on the bottom, it's a little bit chaotic as you work with this. Now, to prove a point, one thing you could say is that in one portion of the screen or the other, I could press Ctrl plus down arrow here maybe and ultimately go to the very bottom of the worksheet, very last row, and there's the very last column. So I can see the last row, last column cell right there, in the upper left-hand corner. I might be looking at A1. I'm not sure if that proves a strong enough point, but with a 4-way split, in other words having a vertical and horizontal split line at the same time, you could conceivably view any 2 cells in the worksheet at the same time no matter where they're located. I think it makes a lot more sense in these examples to either have a horizontal or vertical split, and more often than not, you're likely to see the horizontal split. So I'm just going to double-click the vertical line here to get rid of that vertical split, and now we're left with a horizontal split, which I think makes a lot more sense. Now, we can view our data this way. At some point, we don't really need the feature. We can either double-click this or possibly go back to split, and simply, it removes the split by clicking it. So splitting the screen either vertically or horizontally gives you the option of seeing data from different parts of the worksheet at the same time.